Hallo, herzlich willkommen hier auf der Axopar 45 Cross-Cabin mit Aft-Kabin. Die zweite Live-Session für heute. Die Messe hat gerade geschlossen, 18 Uhr. Und wir haben schon ein paar Fragen, die Zuschauer uns gestellt haben, aber wir haben vor allem, was mich sehr stolz macht, wir haben nämlich jemand an Bord hier, dem wir das tolle Schiff, ich sage mal im Gros, natürlich dem ganzen Team, aber hauptsächlich zu verdanken haben, seiner Vision, seinen Ideen. Ich werde natürlich jetzt kurz mal ins Englische umschwenken, dass Janne uns auch versteht. Wir haben hier den Co-Founder von Axopar. Janne, thanks for having you here on your most excited baby, I would say. You have been doing so much effort into having this boat. Tom will just give the micro to him, so you can say some words about how proud you are that this boat is here today.
Yeah, okay. So the Axopar 45, of course, it's the crown jewel of Axopar. We've been working on this project, I think, already on the paper for like 3.5 years. What took the time is that we wanted the boat to get just right. So we didn't want to rush the concept, and actually why we did the cross cabin first and not launch the open models first is that to do a versatile multifunctional cabin boat is one of the hardest things to do, especially when we talk about the modularization and the different options you can get, and these options that they also need to transfer for the open models. So from that point, we took the biggest challenge first, and we made the cross cabin first. And now from us rolling over to the open boats coming out later on, that's going to be almost like a walk in the park when we get there, because we've solved all the big questions already on the big boat, on the cross cabin.
That's very good to hear. I just have a picture here from the open boat, which just showcases how an open boat, for example, with Aft-Kabin is going to look like. This is a Suntop version. Maybe you can just say 2 words how your idea is here in the central area of the boat with the balconies.
Yeah, so we see a lot of boat manufacturers and a lot of models being built today that focus their openable balconies all the way back to the transom of the boat. And we actually wanted to create like a centralized social space in the middle of the boat, and we really challenge ourselves and the team on how can we make a space that your both can actually enjoy the sun, stay outdoors, but also when you want to get shelter from the sun, because we know, at least I'm from Finland, I can take sun for half an hour, then after that I want to go have some shelter on me. So how
this
can
is very
we
good
create
to see here on the picture.
That's a good idea.
Michelle is sharing that. So you can really see how people are gathering inside, and the girls who really like the sun more, sitting outside, but still, very close to the internal side. And we can just showcase that here.
And actually, if I go back to your drawing or your picture, actually, so we started with the openable balcony doors on the open boats, and as we wanted these to be standard on all the boats, that raised the next question: how can we utilize the balcony doors on a cross cabin? Because usually you have one sliding door and that opens in the front. So what use would you have to have openable balcony doors on a cross cabin?
None.
And this actually then just changed our philosophy of how we do it. So we actually incorporated the twin sliding doors so that now you can easily open up the aft sliding doors and you create like a full long sensation of space and airiness inside of the boat.
I just want to show that because we can just move that here.
Yeah, so moving the wet bar a bit further back, opening up the back doors, especially now when we're on a cross cabin, just sitting inside of the boat and having the balcony doors open, this really opens the boat up and creates a completely new space experience inside an all-weather, all year round, fully pledged commuter boat.
I had the pleasure, thanks to you or to all your team, that the prototype we've been showing in the picture before, lying in Mallorca, I had the chance from you guys to use it for 3 days. And Julia, she loved lying here, just want to show, on this balcony here, just lying above the water and having this feeling to be so close to the water. You would never put yourself onto the floor.
No.
You always want to be up. And the same is like, it utilizes exactly like becoming a seat instead being on the floor. And if you take it up, it's like very easy to move without having electric engine or whatever needing. And this is, I think, a core value of Axopar.
Yeah,
not
so
being too.
We try to do things that on the paper look complex, understanding the problem and find an easy solution for even the most complex of problems. So that's actually why we don't want to have balcony doors that are operative, for example, with electric engines, because at some point those electric engines will need servicing or they will malfunction. So the more manual things that we get to function properly, the more we want to have those. And also talking about the cross cabin, the balcony itself, we also felt that why on earth would you want to spend time on the floor of a boat? So we see so many manufacturers that do the extendable, I would not call them balconies. So a balcony to me is that you can actually utilize it for leisuring and staying and extending your stay on board. But when you extend a floor level balcony, that actually just extends floor space. And to me, I never feel comfortable lying on a floor. To me, moving on a boat, and this is also something that on a boat show, all the boats are always stationary. So nobody actually gets the understanding that while you're on the water, the boat will be rocking according to the waves. And to me, to walk past any section on the boat,
you would be frightening.
It would feel frightening. So that's why we raised the balcony so that you have, first of all, we have the seating area, so it's like a good ergonomic seating, but also that now when you're moving around, actually I can lean my knees on this. So even if the boat would rock like heavily from a super yacht creating a huge wake, I can always feel stable walking around, and I will always feel safer to have kids on board. And,
Absolutely.
And actually what I saw, one thing interesting, that you at night you are using stand-up paddle boards in Mallorca, and I saw 2 stand-up paddle boards actually stored in here.
I just wanted to say there, it was very good to take them out of the water, and I stored them here to not needing to put them back onto the roof or having them in the back. So it was a perfect storage, and also entering and exiting the stand-up paddling board, because a stand-up paddling board to get from a bathing platform is not so good.
Yeah, you're too low.
You're too low. Yeah. So getting on the middle height was very, very good.
So actually, you're almost like from a seated position going straight up to a standing position.
Absolutely, very, very good. Well.
Also, one thing that people really don't realize, that when you have a balcony door that opens up from the floor level, I mean completely from the floor level, and it's like 10 centimeters from the water, you will have waves and wake
could be coming in,
bouncing up the balcony doors, actually in a way that it can actually even hurt you. But at least in terms of comfort, that's not going to be increasing your comfort if your balcony doors are being slammed up and down all the time because of the wake.
But we have talked now, I think we're going something which is also very nice, the sunbed, because that was not seen before like this.
Yeah, this is actually completely. This is actually our world premiere.
I've been lying on this morning to show how big it is.
Yeah.
So so you can see the distance here.
Yeah, and I'm not even at the corner.
Yeah,
so this is really the beauty of doing a functional 45-footer that still doesn't feel like a 45-footer and still handles the driving sensation. It's still as sporty as the 37.
Absolutely, even like the 28. It's so agile. It is so much fun to drive, and this is for me an Axopar. It's like it makes you driving more as you would normally drive a boat, because it makes it's so much fun. So it's not a hassle to use your boat and just going to the bay. The more is the way to the bay is the best time of the day.
Yeah, no, this is so. One thing is, of course, spending time on board, that is one thing. But the second thing is also the driving sensation, and that is for us core at Axopar. And I would actually say that in terms of development, this actually took also additional time, because we didn't want to create a 45-foot heavy yacht sensational.
Everybody can do that.
Yeah, everybody can do that. So again, we took the hard road, we took the long road, but eventually getting there and solving all the technical issues, and let's say like even reanalyzing hydrodynamics in how to make this work, and also work with only 900 horsepower. It actually could
what
could
you
work.
say? Only 900?
Only 900.
We could get some strange comments on this one, no?
For me, we're still on a 45-foot boat.
Okay, that's true.
And to me, a 45-foot boat that is weighing approximately up to 12 tons, we see no competitor using only 900 horsepower to propel their boats.
Okay,
They always have, so when we're going especially into the United States, which is the biggest export for Axopar at the moment, we also see that many of the boats in there, the big cabin cruisers or even the open boats, they are minimum powered by 1,200 horsepower, and they are still not getting the top speeds that we're getting with the 45.
What is the top speed then?
Top speed is over 50 knots, so 50,
Over
51.
50 knots? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's also a second thing. Every boat we make needs to be safe at the speed we're recommending the boat to travel. So the 50 knots.
Yeah, but
actually
traveling,
is
you would travel, like I traveled the
Yep.
boat, I remember I traveled it around N30 knots.
Yes,
But we still need to consider that N30 knots, you're still overtaking 99% of every other boat,
Yes.
which probably look much faster
Yep.
than this boat.
Yes.
But you know, they're just standing.
Yeah.
Because at 38, 35 knots cruising is fast.
Yes,
This is really
yes,
fast.
37, 38.
Okay.
Yes,
Wir
yeah,
quatschen.
question.
We both just
Yeah,
talking
question.
too much.
Das ist ja ein Live-Video, das heißt, wir haben Fragen von Leuten, die tatsächlich zugeschaut haben. Das ist jetzt kein Walkthrough, sondern tatsächlich Live-Fragen.
Ja.
Erste Frage, jetzt in Deutsch. Jan ist zwar hier in Englisch, wir machen es trotzdem Deutsch. 3 Motoren mit 900 PS. Gibt es auch eine Variante, wo das Boot nur mit 2 Motoren ausgestattet werden kann?
Von meiner Seite gibt es momentan nur 3 Motoren. Ich weiß nicht, Janne, is there anything in the plan?
So I understood the question. So dual engines is an interesting topic, and especially now with Mercury launching the new V10 engines, that is actually something that we are looking into. Of course, already in the design stage, we already looked at the possibility to equip, for example, the 45 with dual diesel engines. So dual engine configuration is something that for sure we will be looking into. Also, as the engine manufacturers are getting ahead of the game and forward in the game and utilizing good components and very like functional engines that we want to put on them. So we still, as an Axopar, we always want the engines to be lightweight, because for us an Axopar is more like a sports car. So you don't want to have heavy engines that will actually take away the driving sensation.
But then the V10 sounds to be a very,
V10
very
looks
good engine
really,
because
really
it's so
good.
light.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
So
So I would say for that, stay tuned.
Wir haben noch eine zweite Frage. Gibt es die Möglichkeit, das wurde auf Englisch jetzt schon geklärt, aber die Frage nach einem offenen Boot. Wir sehen jetzt ein Kabinenboot. Gibt es das Boot auch als offenes Boot oder sogar mit Flybridge?
Ja, Flybridge, denke ich, würde es nicht geben bei einer Axopar. Axopar ist immer auf Low Center of Gravity, niedriger Schwerpunkt, ist ganz klar das Grundziel. Also das ganze Boot ist darum konzipiert, das Gewicht niedrig zu halten, und dementsprechend wäre es komplett entgegen der Gene, der Idee des Designs, ein Flybridge oben drauf zu setzen. Und warum auch? Also Flybridge, wir haben ja hier für die Bootsgröße extrem große Flächen außen mit der Sonnenliege, hinten Sonnenliege oder 2 Sonnenliegen eigentlich vorne. Also der Freiraum bei dem Schiff zum Öffnen auch mit den Dächern ist extrem groß. A Flybridge boat, I would say, is never an option.
So all the arguments you just said, 100% agree with you. Also, I would say, following your comment, that we already have the space on board. So there's actually, the flybridge in itself is only going to be like a secondary steering position. It's not really going to be creating more space on the boat. And for us also, one thing is the accessibility and the places you can get with the 45. So not only are we talking about the height of the boat in terms of silhouette, we're talking about windage. So that how the boat how it feels to handle at slow speeds, at tricky maneuvers in harbor, in tight quarters. The wind is not pulling this boat as nearly as much as a normal flybridge boat. Also, addition to that this boat, so center of gravity, so that when we're talking about staying at anchor without a seakeeper or other stabilizers, this boat, because it has a low weight, first of all, which means that it doesn't create a huge mass that is moving around, and having the weight very low creates a sensation that the boat only rocks according to the waves, and it doesn't create its own momentum.
Yeah,
so
like no
big
amplitude.
flybridge boats at anchor need seakeepers and stabilizers. The 45 actually not really, and that's the one.
True.
That's
I
also the
experienced
additional.
that myself. Absolutely, it's very stable on anchor. But we had
Die Frage Flybridge ist dann geklärt. Das heißt, die nächste Frage wäre eine Suntop oder eine offene Variante.
Die offene, die Serienproduktion. Maybe you
das ist eine nächste Frage, die wir auch noch stellen.
Genau.
Die ist auch
But
gestellt
this is
worden.
connected to each other.
Yeah.
So, Janne, there was loads of discussion. You know, the boat is announced quite long. Then we had the prototype in Mallorca. Everybody was ramped up to let's go.
Yeah.
And now we're having one boat here. Maybe people expected even having two boats here, one Suntop and one cross cabin.
Yep.
So I think this is.
So still, these are the very first months we're actually starting to live a normal life after Corona. So first of all, the number one thing is just to get, during Corona, to get production up and running. But the number one issue we had a partner that we gave all the trust to manufacture our boats. We were actually let down by this, and we needed to relocate all the entire production of the 45s from another country even into a production unit and a production facility that was already 100% full, occupied with producing the 37s and the 28s for our customers.
Which you can't produce enough for the demand. Yeah?
No,
so you would like. It's not like you would let a production down because you had some boats over. So you can't produce what the market is asking you. So it would be like really destroying one product
to the cost of the other.
To the cost of the other.
And I would still also additional add to that this other manufacturer we're now going and we are having the zero production already up and running. Is also something that we actually needed to build the space just to be physically able to build the 45 at that location. So not only relocating, taking everything with us and starting up from scratch, so actually we needed to make the plan for it as well.
And this relocating, you can, like in the real world, you could say, jemand hat euch enttäuscht, so somebody let you down in some way. Somebody you trusted or you didn't really do what you expected of them, which is a pity, but it can happen. This is business.
And then how much is Corona related, how much is others, that is something we can only stipulate. But at least the things we now know for sure, we have the perfect partner for the 45, we're building more boats, and we're actually expanding the production even more for the future.
And Suntop could be then being seen the first time?
Yeah, the first boats will be seen during summer. The official launch of the open boats, I would say, is Cannes International Yachting Festival in September.
So there will be a Suntop, or also shown there's another version with this cross top?
So we're actually, when the whole range of Axopar 45s are out, we're planning to have 5 models, and 4 of these are open. So if we start with the fully open one, which will be the Spider, then we have the short roof one, which is the T-top, then we have the Suntop, which everybody already knows from the 37, and then actually we're doing a fusion between an enclosed and an open boat, which is a cross top, which has the windscreen of a cross cabin, but
fully
otherwise
enclosed.
all around
that's
it's
very
fully
smart.
open.
I think it's very good.
I think that's for the Mediterranean, where you have a client that wants to get the experience of an open boat, but still be sheltered from the wind and the small spray that is caused by waves and wind conditions in everyday driving. I think that's going to be a huge hit.
I believe too. Like Tommy, for you, Mallorca as well, huh?
Ich fasse das nochmal ganz kurz zusammen. Also ja, es wird ein offenes Boot geben. Es wird sowohl eine Spider-Version als auch eine Suntop geben und noch eine dritte Variante als offenes Boot geplant. Ein Cross-Top, was quasi die Form des Daches von der Cabin hat und auch die Windschutzscheibe, aber an den Seiten dann eben im Offen. Nächste Frage war noch bezüglich Solarleistung. Wir haben jetzt ja gesehen, dass wir hier Solarzellen installiert haben, für die Batterien konstant aufrechtzuerhalten. Wie viel Solar könnte ich denn maximal installieren? Platz müsste mir einfach platzmäßig ausmessen.
Das ist eine Platzfrage. Also wir haben jetzt hier ein 120 Watt Panel.
3 Stück.
3 Stück, genau. 360. Also das ist. Also, do you know what the standard solar setup going to be
first of all, it's similar that we already have on the 37. So one trickle charging solar unit that is installed on the roof, and that's going to be available for all the models. Of course, not for the Spider, but all the other models for sure. So just making sure that all the basic running units get its power from the sun.
Wir haben nebendran liegende 37 Brabus-Line. Jetzt sind wir hier auf einem Nicht-Brabus-Line-Boot. Gibt es von der 45 auch eine Brabus Line und wenn ja, wann?
Das kann ich auch nicht beantworten. Es ist sehr gut, dass ich Janne dabei habe.
You understand the question? It's a question about Brabus Line.
We don't know. There's no
You also don't know this.
no, we don't.
There's no time plan. I think this is already the answer. It will be coming. There will be also at some point for sure a real Brabus of the 45. This is
This was another question.
at some point. Yeah. Okay, there will be one.
Gibt es Fragen vielleicht bei den Zuschauern? Hat jemand noch eine Frage?
Ja, der hat extra lange gewartet hier. Danke
Ja,
für das. Die
Manfred.
Messe hat ja schon geschlossen.
Ja, also ich hatte eine Frage. Die Frage war, ob sie auch offen geben wird, aber die Fragen habt ihr gerade somit beantwortet. Insofern hat sich meine Frage erübrigt. Allerdings habe ich doch noch eine Frage, die mir gerade eingefallen ist. Wäre es möglich, das Boot in der Konfiguration mit den neuen Mercury V12 zu bestellen, 2 Stück? 2x600.
So the V12.
Yeah, that's a good question. So actually going back to the discussion we had regarding the V10s, that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking that. So I don't want to sound too critical, but the V12 engine, it's a technical marvel. It's a masterpiece in how you can actually create a running V12 12-cylinder outboard.
And the underwater construction, the double propeller dual prop style.
But still going into it, that even we've played around with the V12 idea, even for a Brabus, even for other boats. And the whole idea is that when we take power to weight ratio and we calculate that on the V8s, and we even calculate that on the V10s, these are second to none on any engine available on the market today. The V12, with the added weight and also one thing for us, which is complexity, so that we at Axopar, also what we told, we want things to be simple, easy to use, and let's say, what's the word?
Functional.
Not functional, but ensure that they are functional, so that like proof of concept, so that we are already knowing that these engines work. The V8s, they work. They work, and they are perfect match for the Axopar. So if we were to, for example, exchange three, or actually I'm going to give you the Brabus Shadow 900 example of the V12. So if we remove two 450R racing engines from the Shadow 900 37, and we put two V12s of 1,200 horsepower on that boat in total.
On the 37.
On the 37, we calculated a top speed increase of maybe 4 knots.
Okay.
So there was like no use, because the more added weight we put on that boat, we needed to compensate. So the horsepower we put in actually was just to get the boat going in the same speed as we already get it with the V8 engines. And that's why the power to weight ratio is very important on an Axopar. And also for, let's say, customers specifying an Axopar. We know we have this discussion. You sell a lot of boats that you usually spec to a very high specification. I'm usually the guy say that, hey, don't sell too many options on the boat. For me, it's number one, fuel efficiency. Second is also the handling is also, you get a bit more crispy handling when you have the boats.
And the more you have, the more can break.
Yes, and that's also the same thing. So keep the boats light, keep them efficient,
and
easy
simple.
And simple. That is my philosophy.
I
from
fully
go.
underline that, because that's then less stress or less risk, definitely.
So,
Wir hatten noch eine letzte Frage, die gerade aufkam nach dem Preis.
Wie das Boot hier ausgestellt, das hast du gerade geschaut, deswegen weißt du es besser wie wir.
Knapp 800.000 Euro.
Knapp 800.000 Euro, inklusive deutscher Mehrwertsteuer.
Deutsche Mehrwertsteuer inklusive. Das geht, wir haben eine breite Range.
Aber this is very high spec, this boat.
This is super high specified, so with air conditioning, everything.
Wir haben Air Condition, wir haben ein Lithium Pack, wir haben Wet Bar, also Joystick. Wir haben die maximale Ausstattung, die es vom Werft gibt. Also wie man beim Automobilkonfigurator sagt, einmal alles runtergekreuzt.
Ja. Es kamen jetzt nicht mehr Fragen. Ich glaube, das ist ja wirklich ein Live-Video. Wir sollten es auch so nutzen, wie es gedacht ist.
Genau.
Dass wir sagen,
vielleicht machen
kommen
wir
noch
das
Fragen.
Ganze nochmal. Also ich glaube, Leute müssen ja auch ein bisschen daran gewöhnt werden, was hier passiert. Wir sind noch 9 Tage da. Sollten Fragen sein, wenn Sie das Video jetzt vielleicht morgen schauen, übermorgen, stellen Sie bitte Fragen in den Kommentaren, entweder zu dem Video, was ich heute Morgen gemacht habe, oder zu dem Live-Video. Wenn genügend Kommentare da sind, wo ich mich drauf freuen oder wir uns drauf freuen würden, if there's enough comments in the video below, we will Deswegen kurz in Englisch, auch für die Englischstunde. We will redo a video in English or in German during the coming week. Also wir werden nochmal ein Video dann die Woche machen, nochmal ein Live-Video, wenn es einfach genug Fragen gibt. Das gilt für alle Boote, die wir Live-Presentation machen. Wenn es genug Fragen geht, gehen wir natürlich nochmal online. Janne, thanks for joining. I needed your help. I can see that.
Das war gut, ja.
The questions are more particular than I thought, so it was good you having here. And ja, vielen Dank, einen schönen Abend und vielen Dank für den ersten Tag hier auf der Boot 2023.